All right, guys, today I'm going to be teaching you the last lesson we have, actually all year, brand new lesson. Tomorrow we're going to review everything we talked about with math in the kitchen or math in food. I have a study guide, and then Thursday you have your quiz. This will be your last quiz and your last day of the marking period. All right, so last little lesson here, pretty easy. I just want you to be able to organize the information correctly. So sometimes food can be cooked in batches, all right, which means we can't cook it all at one time. All right, so we have to do it kind of in shifts, so one after another. And why would we have to do that? Well, maybe we only have one pan or two cooking sheets and it requires more. Or if we're using a toaster, for example, we may need to plan it out so that we're doing multiple runs through the toaster. Okay, so it's basically planning ahead. So if you're saying, oh my gosh, I have people coming over in a half hour and I need to cook 75 cookies, all right, and you only have one sheet pan to put those cookies on, you have to decide whether you're going to have enough time or not, or say that you have to go to work in an hour, and you're trying to make food for your family and making sure that it's done in time. You can kind of calculate these things ahead of time so that you don't start something that you can't finish. Okay, so take a look at this first example, and then I'll show you a few, and then I'll have a few for homework. So this is an example where a recipe calls for 72 cookies. However, you can only bake 24 cookies at a time. So usually on a regular sized cooking pan, you can fit about 12 cookies. So maybe you only have two pans. All right. Now, each of the cookies cook for 8 minutes. The first thing that we're going to do for each of these is we're going to decide how many batches we're going to have to make. All right, so we take the total amount that we're looking for, which is 72 cookies, and we divide it by what one batch would be. So meaning we can put 24 cookies in at once. All right, so that means when we divide that, we get 3 batches. All right, so we're going to have to do this 3 times in a row. So how many minutes would it take to do this whole process? Well, after we take out, in 8 minutes, we take out our first batch, we put our second batch in, okay, and then do the same process over. Each batch takes 8 minutes. So you would multiply that by 8 minutes, and that will give you what the total is for the whole cooking or baking process. Okay? So I'm going to set them all, each of these problems up in a little table for you, just to keep, track of things. So let's take a look at this first one here. You want to make 8 pieces of toast for your family. The toaster makes 2 pieces at a time. Toast takes 3 minutes each batch to cook. So let's see, 8 pieces of toast is how much I want. I divide it by how many can go into the toaster at one time. So that's 4. So that means I have 4 batches. Okay. And each batch takes 3 minutes. So I'm going to take 4 and I'm going to multiply it by 3 minutes just to see how much it would be total. So total, it will be 12 minutes. And notice, please, that I'm putting units in here. 4 batches, 12 minutes, right? Units, minutes. Okay. Next one. Banak bakes for 12 minutes. The recipe makes 32 pieces total, but you can only cook 16 pieces at a time. Okay, so the total is 32 pieces. I divide it by 16 pieces per batch. That's 2. I'm going to have to do 2 batches. Okay, and then I'm going to multiply that by 12 minutes. It's 12 minutes per batch. Okay, so then that's 24 minutes. So real quick, I know a lot of these numbers are pretty nice, right? What if it said for this problem that, and I'll just use this second one as an example. What if instead of 16, okay, well actually, yeah. What if I could only cook, let's say, 12 at a time, okay? So when I go to divide and I do 32 pieces total, but I can only cook 12 at a time, you're going to get a decimal here. You're going to get 32 divided by 12. You're going to get 2.6. Well, you can't do 2.66 batches. So it's 2 batches and then some. All right, so you're going to have to round up for this. You're going to have to do your 2 batches, all right, and then do a last batch with just a few little extras. So it's not, you can't do it in 2 batches. You have to go up to 3, for example, okay? And then you would multiply that by 12 minutes, so it would be 36 minutes total. Okay, so let's try these last 4. These are the last 4 we're doing together, pretty easy peasy. And then we'll go from there. You can go work on the homework. All right, so this is batches and this is cooking time. Griddle will hold 10 tiny pancakes. The recipe makes 50. So you're going to do 50 divided by 10. I'm going to just do the work in here because I don't have a lot of room on the page. So I'm going to have to do 5 different batches of pancakes. The cooking time for each one is 4 minutes. I'm going to multiply that by 4 minutes. So that means that it's going to take me 20 minutes to cook pancakes. Okay, next one. The recipe makes 36 rolls. My cookie sheet, though, only holds 24. So when I do 36 divided by 24, okay, I'm going to get a decimal, and the decimal is 1.5. Okay, so I'm going to have to do, like I said before, you can't do, you're going to do this in 2 different batches. All right, you have to round up. So you're going to do this in 2 batches. First batch is going to have 24 little cookies or rolls, whatever it is. And then the second one is going to have 12. All right. So let's do 2 batches. And we're going to multiply that by 15 minutes. So it's going to take us a total of 30 minutes to make these rolls. Okay, 2 more. Only make 12 muffins at a time. I want to make 24, so you can probably see that this is 24 divided by 12. It's even. You're going to do 2 batches. Each one is 14 minutes long. So this is going to be 28 minutes total. Okay, and then last one, 48 large cookies. You can only do 8 large cookies at a time, so this is going to take you a while. When you do 48 divided by how much it is in one batch, you get 6. So you have to do this 6 times in a row. This would be useful if you had a bunch of pans besides one. Okay, so let's do 6 times 12 minutes. This is going to take you 72 minutes. All right. So 1 hour and 12 minutes to do this whole process. So the only thing that you need to remember is if when you're figuring out your batches, if it's a decimal, just round up. Okay, because that just means that you're going to have to do it an extra time. All right, an extra batch. All right, so take a look at Google Classroom, please. There is a cooking in batches homework assignment for you that's set up just like this. Please show me as much work as possible. I know some of this you can probably do in your head, but these types of situations I'd like to see your work for, because then we can kind of distinguish where your mistakes are coming from. All right. Thank you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow.